Aftershocks TV. We're back here with another episode where we're featuring some of the best underground hard rock and metal bands on the globe. And today we're going to Long Island, New York, as we're chatting with a band that's no doubt rapidly rising within the metal community, as we're pleased to have with us from Damn Your Eyes, guitarist Artie Alexander joins us. What's up, Artie? Thanks for coming on Aftershocks.
What's going on? Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, dude. So, yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about what's going on with Damn Your Eyes in the camp right now. I know in terms of new music, I mean, you guys released a couple of singles over the last year, Doom on You and Weaponized, man. Just two kick-ass tracks, man. Just, I mean, it's got us all salivating for more. I'll tell you that, you know, when you get a little taste of those tracks, man. So I guess, you know, just to start things off, why don't you just tell us a bit about what's going on in terms of possibly releasing some more new music and maybe even a record or an EP, or, you know, what's going on with new music with the band?
Well, we have some songs recorded. We have two more that are finished that we did quite a while ago, actually. We were sitting on it for a while. Our drummer, Darren, got sick. You know, he got diagnosed with cancer this year. And,
oh, shit.
And, so, you know, we were sitting on him. We were going to probably do some videos, and then that happened. And, you know, that kind of changed things up for us a little bit. And just recently, we, you know, we decided, hey, let's release Weaponized. So we had a guy make a video for us, a lyric video.
Okay.
And we put that out, and we did some work with the promotion company, and you know, went on radio, and it, you know, it did pretty well. So we did Doom on You, Weaponized, and when we released Doom on You, we also did a song called Heavy Is the Head. We released a video for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we released a lyric video for Lock and Load.
Okay.
So that was our new music with this lineup. During the pandemic, we got Darren and Gabby in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabby and I played together with Harley Flanagan with the Chrome Eggs, and we used to tour together and play together. And I always thought he was more of a metal guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
So when he left that situation, we discussed, and we also play for Leeway. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So our band is pretty much Eddie's backup band. Mm-hmm. So you know, I said, hey, would you be interested in doing both these things? And he jumped on it, and we came across Darren, and it's been one hell of a ride since.
Sure, man. Yeah. Well, yeah, let's go ahead. I mean, talk about the new additions. You said Darren and Gabby. Obviously, the big name is Gabby. I mean, like you said, he played on Alpha Omega with the Cro-Mags, you know, some years ago. And obviously, like you said, you both have been playing with Harley, you know, recently. It was kind of interesting too, because I kind of knew that, but I saw within the press release, I didn't really see anything mentioned about Cro-Mags, and I was thinking like, wow, I didn't know if it was something that you didn't want people to know you played with them or something, because that's a big, you know, deal if people, you know, see that you guys were both in Cro-Mags. So obviously that's how you guys connected. So I guess just talk a little bit, you know, with the addition of both Gabby and Darren. I mean, what are these? They both kind of bring into the fold, I guess, to the band that maybe, you know, had been lacking before they came in, because I do sense that, to me, these new tracks, like, it just feels really more focused, you know, and I'll get into that a little bit, but if you just want to talk a little bit about their additions into the band.
Well, Darren was in a band called Coratory, and they were a staple on the Long Island music scene for like 24 years. Mm-hmm. And he ran that band, and he went through lineup changes, and he just kept doing it. And I guess the band had fallen apart. And when we were looking for a new drummer, we had some drummer issues, and, you know, whether they were personal issues or, you know, private issues that we don't talk about, you know, we had to move on from guys. And as the band was growing and as our ideas were growing, we needed somebody more to fit our style. And Darren is that guy. I mean, he's a groove machine. He's very much of a Vinnie Paul type player. Mm-hmm. The way he writes his drums is incredible. I just love the pieces he puts in, his fills. You know, on Weaponized, he was doing all these ghost notes, and, you know, instead of the standard, you know, fitting in with the double bass and stuff, he laid back in this thing, and it just put a totally different groove on the song. And it would have been cool the other way too, but he just has a feel for what we're doing. We
Okay.
we love the same music. We grew up listening to the same stuff. We're all over as far as music listeners. We don't just listen to metal.
Okay.
You know, we listen to Toto, and we love all that shit. So
Sure.
so Darren was a really good fit. He's such a tremendous human being. He's such a great guy. He's so smart business wise. He's the guy that I want to be doing these interviews because he's just a plethora of information. The guy's all over the place and he's locked into the scene. And we hope he gets better soon. We have a guy filling in for him for the time being while he goes through what he's going through and fights. And he's got good days and bad days. We have a guy, Mike Podber, who's from a band Achilles. He was also in a band Hardway. He's been filling in. He plays for the Leeway part of the band, as well. He's awesome. He's such a great guy. And that was part of what we were trying to do with Darren and Gabby. We wanted guys in the band that were on the same level, emotionally, spiritually, behavior-wise, no loose cannons, no drama, none of that stuff, because you see it all the time in bands. It just destroys everything. And if you're not getting in a room with 5 guys that are adults and have lives and have kids and have houses and having the time of your life, you're wasting your time. And that's this lineup. Gabby, I met with him. The way that all happened, actually, with Gabby was I had gotten, before the pandemic, I got an email from Harley asking me to come back and do some shows. And, there's a long history with the Cro-Mags and Harley and John and all of it's toxic.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as I'm concerned. And I left playing in that situation because of that toxicity. And I don't live my life like that. And I just felt like it was time for me just to do the Damn Your Eyes thing. I was building it for a while, and I wasn't thrilled with the new stuff that he does. And I'm not trying to put anybody down or whatever. I didn't like the situation. It wasn't me. And I felt like I was pretending. At first I was all in, and then I just felt like I was pretending to be enjoying myself, and that's not fun. So, Gabby had some similar feelings about it, and, he eventually left. And right before the pandemic hit, Harley reached out to me. I politely turned him down, and, he said he was having issues. So me and Gabby had kept in touch, and I reached out to see how he was doing and what was going on. And we ended up having dinner together before they shut down everything. And, he said he was done. So I said, I have a spot for you if you want it. And he said, I want it. So he jumped on it. And what a tremendous addition he's been. He complements everything we do in such a dramatic way. And his writing is incredible. Things I could never even imagine he adds to stuff,
Yeah.
And we work so well together as guitar players and as writers. I write the majority of the song, and then everybody comes in and just puts themselves into it and finishes, spicing it up, and then we throw it in the oven and it comes out.
Nice.
As Your Eyes song. And it's been such a really pleasurable experience. And eventually, coming out of the studio, we're listening to stuff and we're like, holy shit, we have a really good band here. And we were so proud of it. And I'm not one of those guys that, we don't brag about ourselves. We're all pretty humble guys, but, we crush it live. We're a really good live band. And with, we were talking a little bit before we came on, how you got to know us. And it was through seeing something that Tommy Victor Prong had put on. We were playing that show, and before we went on, I'm in the back, and the guy comes out. He's like, "Yeah, my buddy Tommy Victor's here." And I said, "Oh, really cool. That's really cool." I, just saw that he was back in town, living on the island, and I said, "I wonder if he's going to stick around and see our set." And the guy said to me, I don't know if this is true, but he's here to see you guys.
Really? Wow.
I was like, really? I don't know if this is true. I don't know. That's what he had said to me. And so I'm like, this is cool. And we went on and we did our thing. And immediately he came up to us and was just like, holy shit, you guys are fucking awesome. you blew me away. And it's one thing when people say that to you, maybe they're just being nice to you, But
sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was being very honest, and we talked for a while after, and we said, hey, maybe we could do some stuff together. And my singer Kenny knows Tommy's wife, and she said, you guys should maybe go out together and do a run or whatever. And he's like, I'm not following these guys, So we were like, okay, maybe we're where we need to be,
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited. We have a lot of really cool shows coming up. We got on the Prong bill that he's doing on the island.
I saw that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're excited about that, and that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, man. Well, fantastic, man. Well, let's go back a little bit. Let's get into I want to get into also the band's sound and style.
Cool.
And I know you guys state in the press release, it says you guys are hybrid metal, which I think is pretty much a good description. I really couldn't agree more with that, because when I listened to this album right here, Kill the Outside, your debut record, that album, it's got elements, I mean, really just about a very sort of subgenre of metal you could think of from the 90s especially. I mean, you've got grunge on there, you've got thrash elements, hardcore, groove metal, alternative. I mean, just a lot, I guess, really a hybrid or a hodgepodge of all these different influences. And the thing I think that you guys really do better, that I've really heard any of these recent metal bands do when I listen to, is that you've really brought back and have that really early to mid 90s metal sound, that I haven't heard anyone really do in like forever. And as a guy who grew up really in the 90s, it's right. For me, it's right in my wheelhouse. I absolutely love it. If I had to, I guess, explain to someone your guys' sound, I would say just you take Alice in Chains, Prong, and Machine Head, put it in a blender, and boom, it's pretty much a good example of what you guys, sound like. Talk, I guess, about, the band sound. I mean, did you deliberately, when you started Damn Your Eyes, did you have that idea that you wanted to kind of go back and harken back to that 90s sort of sound? Or is this just sort of what comes out of you when you write songs?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
The 90s were the shit for me. That late 80s, I mean, everything was the shit for me. But that time in the early 90s, when you had, Pantera touring and Machine Head came out, that was like Pantera and Biohazard mixed together. That's what that sounded like to me. Mm-hmm. And I miss that stuff. I noticed that a lot of things were very cookie cutter in bands, to me, to my ear, and that groove element and that trusting the song element is what we kind of wanted to follow. Mm. You said there's so many different influences on the Kill Your Outside album, and that's true, but it wasn't like we don't write to an influence. That's just kind of what came out of us, because we're, it's our DNA, kind of. Mm. That's what we grew up with. So we always just write to the song, and whatever kind of happens, happens. Okay. And we don't care. We're not writing for anybody else but ourselves. So we don't care what, we're not worried about what other people are going to think. As long as we're happy with the product, we trust our music instincts, and we put it out.
Sure.
Rise and prepare to let loose the
know, the other thing, other than that, you know, having, you know, these different influences is in your sound. The other thing is, to me, what stands out is that with the songwriting and the song structures, that you do a good job, I think, of not really overdoing any of the influences. You know, it's not like, you know. So, for instance, I'll just use the song on Kill the Outside. These are the things. Okay, the first 2 minutes of that song, you know, you have those real fierce mid-tempo groovy riffs where you just riding on that. As a listener, it's so easy just to kind of get into it and just ride with it. But then, like, you know, about 2 minutes in, you take a nice break in the middle there, and it's like, okay, you know, it almost breaks you out of that groove. But I think the good thing about that is, I mean, obviously as a listener, yeah, you sucked in, you want that riff to keep going, but at the same time, having that break, it really, you know, it what it does is really keeps you coming back for more later. If you derive, for instance, if you write a riff like that for 4 minutes throughout a whole song, I would say if you listen to that song maybe 5 or 6 times, it's going to start to, you know, it's going to start to maybe lose its, you know, its interest, or, you know, because it's so good, but it becomes repetitive. Where I think you do a great job of really keeping those, I guess, if you want to call them those money riffs, really fresh. You don't overdo them. You put them in there. You come back to them later. So as a listener, you know that they're going to be there after the first couple of minutes, and that you can look forward to it coming back, and you can enjoy what's in between them. I just really love the structures that you have on a lot of the songs on the album, even the new songs. So, I mean, just the question is, I guess, when you're structuring them, I mean, are you cognizant of doing that, of making sure to maybe dangle the meat there, the bone for a little bit, you know, bring it back later on, and just kind of ride, you know, in the middle of the song, really just kind of give the listeners something else to chew on besides just those real strong riffs that you have? Because like I said, I really think the structures you have are just really top notch.
I wish I could say that I was in a lab putting all this stuff together,
okay,
you know, in a very calculated way, but it's not what happens. It's,
okay.
The song just takes its own course. And I spend a lot of time rewriting and writing. You know, I'll spend a lot of time on a song. And I like a simple thing, but going off on those little musical journeys where it's just a little outside of the box or different, I guess just happens naturally. And, you know, our Kill the Outside and the EP that we released before that, we have a self-titled EP with 3 songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
You could hear the progression in what we're doing and how we're evolving, and the Kill the Outside was just a 4-piece.
Okay.
So I was trying not to do too much with other guitar wise because we wanted to be able to duplicate live, and we always we thought a 4-piece was the way to go at the time, because that old, you know, being a huge Pantera fan, but I had to, you know, step outside of the situation and really be honest with it. And I'm not Dimebag Darrell at all. And that guy could do stuff I can't do. And we felt like we needed something else to help bring the ideas that I had, you know, together. And and Gabby was that fit. But I don't, you know, these things just happen. Okay. And it blows my mind that people like it. You know, it's I know I like it, but everybody likes their own music, you know.
Sure.
So and having Kenny doing vocals. And that, even the whole trading off the vocals with me and Kenny, that wasn't even part of the plan at all. It just started to happen and take place. And we loved the idea and the fact that we could pull it off and do it. And, you know, just one of those things we fell into and said, oh, we could do this. And we've expanded on it a lot. And that's been naturally also.
Okay. Yeah, no doubt. Well, the thing too now with the new lineup, you know, I mean, just from hearing these first tracks that you've been doing with, you know, with Gabby and Darren, it seems to me when I listen to them and I compare them back to, you know, Kill the Outside, that album, it just seems to me, I think that the songs have there's a little bit more cohesiveness, meaning, you know, I mean, both songs obviously very different. Weaponized, I'll just use those 2 songs instead of the last ones, you know, Doom on You and Weaponized. Even though they're different, they're in the same vernacular sonically, you know. Whereas I think like Kill the Outside, really everything was sort of more spread out, where it seemed like really each kind of maybe influence you were maybe showcasing, you know, musically, was sort of stood on its own. So I mean, example, like the track Slower, obviously you had that real, you know, the acoustic, sort of early 90s Alice in Chains type of sound. Then if you went into sort of the alternative sort of vibe with Dirty Viper, and then you got sort of a New York hardcore punk thing on the Punk Fuck song, where I see now, I mean, I hear, you know, these tracks you got out now, I hear a lot of those influences still, but they're all sort of cohesive within the song instead of standing out sort of separately on each individual track. Was that sort of something that was, you know, that you cognizantly, you know, kind of wanted to do, is just maybe combine everything a little bit more now? Or once again, it was just sort of the way it came out, just organically?
The DNA of the band changed. We evolved from the Kill the Outside album. Having Darren and Gabby in the band, and even Odie and Kenny and I growing into the band. You know, we're like growing into this band.
Okay.
And you know, this is just one of those things where having extra people to kick around ideas, and I guess it just melds into that sound that we have now. And I think that we have a pretty distinct sound. And that hybrid metal thing that you mentioned, that came out of somebody that was helping the band and working with us, this guy Kevin Scandato. He's a booker here in New York, and he was managing us for a little while, and that was his term. He said it's kind of like a hybrid metal, and we kind of ran with it because it kind of, you know, it made sense.
It does.
It happened once again, a conversation with myself, stranger from within, who talks in bitter tones, instrument of death, black hand of arrogance, taking stock lest I forget how the world has done me wrong. For the third gallows grow inside my twisted mind, and where will I? Convinced with destiny, manifest for all to see. The action by design was to take all that was mine. God forgives the
No, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead. You know, you mentioned something before about, you know, you guys being the backing band as well for Leeway. You know, I mean, they're one of my all-time favorite band, and of course, the great Eddie Sutton, one of the best vocalists. Probably my favorite vocalist in New York hardcore ever is him. Obviously, you know, Eddie's been going through, you know, some tough times. You know, recently he's had his bout with cancer over the last few years. You know, I mean, I was real lucky to interview him right before he, you know, was diagnosed, and you know, I've met him before. He's just such a great dude. And just, you know, it sucks because obviously he had been battling demons even way before that he overcame, and now he's going through this. But it's great, you know, just to see him out there again now. It's great. I mean, the guy's such a fighter. I guess the first thing is just how is Eddie doing? I mean, how's he holding up? Everything going well with? I mean, he's obviously playing shows. You guys got some stuff lined up, so I'm assuming he's doing really good right now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing very well. You know, considering the fact, and he's got one hell of a spirit. He's I ain't going out like that kind of guy, you know. And we love that. He's actually outside. Eddie lives with me.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So he's doing his thing. He gets busy. He's doing card art. He's doing some cool stuff.
It's baseball cards and stuff.
He does his doctor's stuff and chemo and all that. But you know, just the turn of events in both of our lives, and you know, he ended up coming to live with me, and which is great. We love having him here in the house, and we, you know, we're looking forward to doing some new music.
Okay.
And
great.
You know, we love especially Odie and I, and Gabby too. Gabby grew up in the hardcore scene, and you know, that whole time. Darren too. We grew up huge Leeway fans, and you know, AJ is a killer writer with guitarists. I mean, his riffs are awesome.
Insane.
His right hand is monstrous. His melodies, his ideas are monstrous. Michael Gibbons did all those little flavorings he put on those albums are tremendous. Everybody in that band was awesome.
Yep. I agree.
And, you know, working with Eddie and doing the Leeway NYC thing, you know, he doesn't want to paint it as a Leeway project. You know, he knows what it is. And Gabby has a really good relationship with AJ, and we know Mike. And, you know, we've kind of gotten the blessing from all, you know, from AJ and those guys to do this with Eddie. And, you know, we wanted to bring it as close to the original thing as we could as players. So we went to work and we worked hard at it. And now we're doing some writing for him. And hopefully we'll get in the studio and do some new recordings. And we want to honor the Leeway sound and taking that influence from AJ and Mike and stuff and come up with something that's pretty close to the original with, you know, with our own little twist on it to have some fun.
Nice.
So we have some shows coming up with him. We're playing next week, August 14th, next Sunday, Bowery Electric in Manhattan. Drew Stone put together a show, and he put Damn Your Eyes in the bill too. So both bands are playing. Nice. And that was kind of the idea. We'll back you up, Eddie, and you take us out on the road with you. And this was all done before the pandemic happened.
Okay.
And before he knew he was sick.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, we didn't know what was going to go on with life, and then all of a sudden it just kind of came full circle, and now we're getting it done.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, very cool. I was going to ask you that if you guys were going to do any new music, and I'm glad to hear that that's going to happen. I mean, I know he put out a couple of songs with Anastasia, you know, a few years back.
Yeah.
But you know, I just when I hear your guys, you know, just because you've got that sound, that you know, that hybrid of you know, the groove, thrash, sort of hardcore. Yeah, I could just see that you guys will do a bang up job writing songs.
Leeway to me is thrash. You know,
they're thrash. I've been saying that for years, man. I know.
Thrash.
I know.
It's not even funny. Those riffs are thrash. You know, it's that crossover thing, and I think they got the crossover thing because of the drum beats and because of Eddie's style.
Eddie's style, yeah.
Eddie's got this flavor that's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but the guitar riffs are thrash.
It's all thrash,
through, and they're so tasty and delicious in so many
I
ways.
know.
I love it. It's you know, when you're learning another band's music, there are times where you want to I never want to hear this song again. You know, it doesn't happen with Leeway.
Wow. Yeah.
We can listen to them over and over again, and when we have to refresh for shows, and you know, we got a lot of things musically going on, so we have a lot of things to remember, and you refresh on stuff and you listen to it again, like, this is so good, you never get tired of listening to it. And that's when you know that's why it's lasted so long. You know, it's the test of time, that music. Yeah.
Well, no, and it's one of the, you just don't get sick of it. You know, like you said, you can put on those riffs, those songs, both those, you know, those two first albums, and it's just it never gets old. It really doesn't. It doesn't. You know what I mean? It's just really unique. But and so, like you said, so you guys definitely didn't plan any. I know, like you said, you've got shows locally. Are you thinking of doing stuff like, you know? Because I remember he came out here about 4 years ago. Out here was just great seeing him. He was with that band, I know, Rhythm of Fear, that crossover band out of Florida, and that was cool. But you know, so I was always hoping it wasn't going to be the last time we got to see him, and so I'm hoping you guys.
Where are you?
I'm out in the San Francisco Bay Area here in California.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So keep that in mind if you.
Hey, listen, we're big Bay Area guys. That's a big part of Damn Your Eyes.
Fresh middle, sure.
That Bay Area. If you'll listen to Lock and Load, and we got a lot of.
Oh yeah.
A lot of my friends in the Bay Area, like, holy shit, you guys are more Bay Area than you think. You know.
Hell yeah. Nice.
So
cool.
yeah, we're looking to do stuff. So
awesome.
Depending on Eddie's availability to travel, you know, there's a lot of unknowns. But at the same time, you know, we want to get out. We want to start doing some runs, Midwest, East Coast, and take it from there. You know, of course, we'd love to get over to Europe with both bands, and you know, expose Europe to Damn Your Eyes. We actually did pretty well on the radio there with Weaponized.
Oh, okay.
You know, for a new band. So we're looking to do that, man. We want to go out and conquer the world. You know, even Damn Your Eyes, we got some pretty good offers to go out with giants.
Really?
Giants.
Okay.
And I'm not going to mention the bands, whatever, but it was just too costly.
Okay.
and these buy-ons are just so incredibly costly. And I'm not going to sell my house to go out on a tour, you know.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do things smart and build Damn You Rise up to a point where, you know, we're going to be asked to go out and not have to buy on. Hopefully that's the case. You know, every time we play shows, we give it everything we have, and we win over every crowd we play in front of. You know, we're going to be doing some stuff with some hardcore bands soon, and we're like, I wonder how they're going to take. You know, hardcore audience is going to take this band, and and I think that we're going to do well.
I think so too. You know, I was looking at that. I was looking at that show you're doing, the Drew Stone one, and yeah, it's interesting. You know, Kings Never Die. They're more of a punk band and street punk kind of. They've morphed into good dudes, those guys. But yeah, you guys are definitely different. Definitely a lot different than I see those bands on that bill. But you know, like I said, you know, but it's, you know, it is good to see, especially in New York, because you know, for so long, I've been growing up there, you know, that was the thing was, you know, obviously everyone knows about the old days with hardcore and metal, or punk and metal not really meshing and kind of clashing until crossover came around. But even in the 90s, I mean, it was, you know, everything was mostly hardcore and punk. You know, metal was usually either New Jersey, Long Island, or upstate. And, you know, it was kind of, it never morphed, you know, the scenes, the metal and hardcore scenes were just so separate. So it's good now, yeah, especially everyone's a little bit older, you know, and maybe they're have a little bit more open mind now, and they've broadened their horizons musically. You know, I think those bills, it's great to see different, you know, style of bands with hard rock and metal playing together instead of just being one of the
I remember, you know, Slayer taking Biohazard out, and Slayer taking Sick of It All out, and
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
the Sepultura shows with The Brutal Truth, and you know, so metal bands were helping out the hardcore bands.
The hardcore bands, yeah.
You know, I saw Hatebreed open up for Damage Plan, and you know, Hatebreed is kind of a crossover band for me. I think they're more metal than hardcore, to be honest with you. But so we're like, hey, you know, we'll do it the other way around, because we have a lot of roots in the hardcore scene. And you know, we'll go out with the Leeway and we'll play with Kings Never Die. Those guys are great dudes, you know. Dan's a great guy. I played with Leeway playing bass for you know, a few shows.
Okay.
We hit the road, and you know, Larry the Hunter, and we just got along so well. At the time, Steve Gallo was playing drums, and now they got Danny Shula from Biohazard, who I got to play with a couple times when I auditioned for Biohazard many moons ago.
Wow. He's a beast, yeah.
It was the time of my life. I'm a big Biohazard fan.
Yeah, so, same here, man. Same here.
Time.
Yeah.
So we're going that route, and I think that we'll be fine. I think that what we bring to the table as a band and as musicians, you know, hardcore audiences don't really get to see bands like that a lot, and.
Sure.
You know, they go to see Leeway and Kings Never Die and stuff, and they get a little taste of it. And, you know, I think they'll enjoy it. I think we have you know, we kind of slide right in there safely, where it's not, you know, we're not extreme in one way or the other. Where they're like, you know, and we're not posers. So, you know, hopefully we'll get a little respect from the hardcore scene and get a little love. That'd be great.
Hands get severed. His skin gets rounded all the way sheep.
quickly, just like you said, I just want to ask you one thing. You kind of alluded to it, about the goal for the band now. I mean, I know obviously, it's not like you're 20 years old and you can just hop in a van and just take off anymore. But it sounds like, yeah, you guys really do want to take this though, as far as you can, and not just have it be some sort of local weekend kind of band thing. So I mean, what is, I mean, I guess are you looking to maybe trying to get on some festivals maybe, or are you going to try to maybe get it, on a label? You're going to look for a label? You're going to put out your own music? I mean, what's sort of, I guess the ideal situation that you can envision right now for the band, for Damn Your Eyes going forward?
Our goal is really, even though we're sitting on some songs and we love to go in and take the time and write another album and do all of that stuff. Right now, our goal is to get in front of people. Okay. To play shows and just become, we're really tight right now, and we're a powerhouse band. We, the energy that we put out, we feel it. We feel it on stage, and we're having the time of our lives together. So it's the funnest experience. But really, it's we want a legitimate shot, and we want to get in front of other bands' fans, and get in front of people that don't know who we are and haven't seen us. And just do what we do. We're crushing it right now. We feel so positive about it. We're ready. We're ready for anything that comes our way. Sure, we'd love to be on a label, if that'll help us. And we'd love to. Festivals would be great. I think we'd crush it on these festivals. I'd love to be able to go out with a bigger band. I'd love a band, like Hatebreed to take us out, or just get out in front of their crowds and do what we do and experience that and grow as a band, because, bands grow while they're writing together, but bands really grow when they're on the road together and they're putting together a 15 show run. And that set's getting tighter and tighter every night, even though you think it's tight, and then you just become this monster. And I think that this band has the ability to be that, to be a monster. I hate talking about, what I think this band is, but I think it's about time I started to. This thing's a fucking beast, and I think that given the right opportunities, it'll blow up on us, and we'll be able to make this our main priority, and then really get after it.
Yeah. No, dude, I mean, like I said, like I said, I've only been aware for you guys for a little bit here, and already, like I said, man, it's if you're a fan, like I said, of really that night, not even just 90s, but just metal in general, but you really like a lot of that groovy, thrash kind of mid-tempo stuff, man, this is right up your alley. And just quickly, I'm going to bring it up this show because you mentioned it before with Prong. God, I wish I was back in New York for this one. But yeah, I guess talk a little bit about the show, just so people know, our audience that's in the East Coast there. This is happening in Long Island on Saturday, October 1st. And I believe that's out in Hauppauge, is it?
Patchogue.
Okay.
Yeah, 89 North. We just found out about this last night. So,
okay. It's not new then. All right.
We were confirmed for it. Well, we heard Prong was playing. And then when Tommy came out to the show and we got to meet him and kind of get acquainted, I reached out to see if we could get on the show. And originally I was told, the bill was full. And I said, great, keep us in mind for more shows. And then we got another one saying that, that they had a spot for us. So,
fantastic.
It's just one of those things where right now I'm just trying to advocate for the band. I'm learning the ropes, just to get us on these shows. And, hopefully this spawns into something really cool. I'd love to go out with Prong and do, a East Coast run or, Midwest run or a Texas, California run, whatever, and go out. The best thing about what we do in this band really is the people that are in it. There's no egos. Nobody's a rock star, So, we're good guys to have on the road. We're good guys to have around. We have a lot of fun. We're funny guys, we like to goof off and stuff. So, this is just the beginning for us, I think, just to start getting on some of these shows and working with like Loaded Concerts. They've been very helpful and nice to us. And, we're thankful and grateful that they reached out to us about this and see who else comes down the pike. We want to take over the world, man. We're enjoying it so much. That's kind of what we want to do.
Sweet.
And given the opportunity, I think we could do it. You know, we're looking for good management, you know, that has the ins. Jimmy Jost, if you see this, you know, you could manage us if you want. We'll let you manage us.
Yeah, there you go.
I was talking to Kurt from Crowbar. We played a show together a while ago, and he said that Josta was his manager, and I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Just going out with bigger bands and making a name for ourselves, and just kicking ass everywhere we go. We're ready. We're fired up. We're ready. We hunkered down. We are tight. We have all our ducks lined up in a row, and we just want to go out there and crush crowds and have a good time.
Great, man. Love it. Love hearing that, man. Well, yeah, once again, the band is Damn Your Eyes, and like I said, they're pretty damn good. So go ahead and check out the latest singles, Do 'Em On You and Weaponized. It's available on all streaming sites. And Artie, where should we send the listeners to go and, you know, just buy some music, check out your merch, and just keep up with the band in general?
Well, we're on every streaming platform. You can get us, you know, you name it, we're on it. So no matter where you are in the world, you could find Damn Your Eyes. You know, our videos are on YouTube. You could go on our Facebook page. It's at Steel Grove Studios, but you could just look up Damn Your Eyes and we'll pop up. You know, you'll see your thing. Right now, we're not pushing merch on the site. We're going to start doing that soon. You know, we're busy men, so it's hard to run everything at once, but it's getting to the point where we have to. You know, we got stickers, we got hats, we got shirts. So, you know, anywhere on any streaming platform, you could check out the music. We have an EP out with 3 songs that we released in 2018. We released the album Kill You Outside in 2019. We released 3 singles, Do 'Em On You, Heavy as the Head, and Lock and Load 2020. And we just did Weaponized this year. So, or 2021. I forget which one it was exactly, the Do 'Em On You. But so there you have it. That's pretty much everything.
All right, fantastic. Well, yeah, once again, like you said, Damn Your Eyes, latest singles are out now. Check them out in the New York, New Jersey area, as they got some really good shows lined up. And Artie, man, thanks so much for coming on Aftershocks, man. I can't wait to hear more. And like I said, hopefully we get to see you guys either, you know, out here, or I'll have to make a trip back there just to catch one of those great shows you're doing.
We're going to get out there.
Fantastic.
No, that's our goal. We're going to get out to the Bay Area. We have a lot of friends out there.
Nice.
And so we're gonna do our best to get out there. And thank you so much for having me on. And I'm glad that you like the music and you came across that post. And
yeah,
you know.
And, absolutely.
We're getting after it. So thank you so much, and it was a pleasure.
Shatter the thought to be brave.